Hey everybody, Greg with Drifter Journey, back here with the video that you have all been asking for. We are going to be talking about some of the issues we had with our truck and the Tune camper, and what Tune did to help take care of it. This is the second take on this video because the GoPro decided not to record audio earlier, so I'm going to shoot it solo this time and hope we do all right. But yeah, so we've had three type of issues with this camper on the Chevy Colorado ZR2, and I'm going to go over the three. I'm going to start with the least important and go to the sketchiest one. So, the light switch down here, which is not connected to any power right now, so it shouldn't be doing anything, wasn't working right. And so this was, in the beginning, I sent Tune a message, email, and they actually just shipped me a new one right away. I did swap that out. It was working better. I have noticed, depending on which power station you're using, sometimes it doesn't work with one of the power stations we have. So higher quality power station seems to not have any issues. But when we did go in for the worst issue, we went into their headquarters in Denver. I talked to them about it and told them it was still being a little fickle. They gave me another one. They gave me another strip of lights and just swapped it all and said, we can change it out and it should be good. Also, in talking to them, they did say that they are looking at different lighting options for the future, so they may even get better. And I do believe if they do change them and upgrade them, these will get swapped out. So, that was the first issue. Second issue, water intrusion. So this was a big topic of discussion right before we picked ours up. We picked it up in January of 2024. So we got one of the earlier ones, and right when we were getting ours, everybody was talking about water problems. We thought that we got the latest updated version, but have found out that they actually changed the process like a week after we picked ours up. So with that said, where we were seeing some leaks was right down in these bolts, nuts, whatever you want to call them, coming through the seam there, and then along the edge on the rail. So these leaks were during super heavy rainstorms, like gnarly rainstorms. And yeah, it was, if you put a paper towel in there overnight, it'd be soaked in the morning, but it wasn't like we had lakes everywhere. There was one more spot, which, as you can see, I've still never washed it. But on the Chevy Colorado, where the bed rail is and then the rail on the front, this actually sits lower. So where their gasket went and goes over that edge, there was a tiny little gap in the corners. And as you can see, I was getting some mud in. But when we did go to the Denver offices, they put some butyl tape in there, so I don't think we're going to have an issue with that anymore. I'm pretty positive because it's been wet and not leaking. Side note, we got their little MOLLE panel here and put some bags on it so we can store some stuff. That's exciting. So the biggest issue, the Chevy Colorado truck bed cracked. So I'll have to get out to show you this one. Hopefully the hound dogs aren't going too crazy while I do this, but if they are, I apologize in advance. And while you're watching, if you are interested in buying anything through any of our links below, we got some discounts and whatnot. It does help support the channel. So you can't see it here, but I'm gonna pop it. Go check Downtime Loss channel. He actually didn't have a tune, he just has a rooftop tent, and he cracked his real bad. So that's why I'm saying I think it's really a Chevy truck issue, not necessarily a tune or ripped out tent issue. And so right about here on the inside, under the bed rail, it's two pieces of steel welded together. And when it comes back to here, you can see it just goes down to one. I don't know if you can see, but it goes down to one piece. So what happened was, where it went down to one and got weaker, it actually cracked the weld under here and was allowing the back of the camper, if I did this, it would have the back of the camper pick up like 1/4 to 1/2 inch, which in the end was making the rear gasket seal lift up off the tailgate, leaving a gap, and we had really nasty rains, so we were getting water in through the back. And obviously something was not going well. We weren't sure at the time. We're like, this isn't working right. It's moving way too much.
Let's talk about today's video sponsor, Epic Water Filters. We love them because they are working hard to eliminate single-use plastic bottles, as well as provide clean drinking water for people across the world. You can shop their household products, such as this countertop filter, their in-fridge pitcher, and an under-sink mounted filter that taps into your countertop, as well as Nalgene bottles in 1 and 1.5 liters with awesome graphics. There's a ton to choose from, and interchangeable filters. So once you have a bottle, you don't have to buy another bottle. You can just keep getting filters that are made in the USA. They make a tap water filter, which is great for everyday use. If you're looking for something for travel or the outdoors, you can get their everywhere filter, which filters out more particulates and bacteria, etc. Shop the link in the description below and use the code DRIFTERJOURNEY for a discount.
So I brought it in to tune. They got us in right away. We happened to be out on a trip when it happened, so they got us in. It was actually over 4th of July, and Christian was actually in there, took care of us, and what he did was basically fix the truck bed. And I will say, I'm not sure if this was something that they would normally do, or if this was just they felt really bad for us and went out of their way to make it right. But I would say technically the tune warranty doesn't cover the truck. And now that I know another person's having the issue, I'm pretty sure it's a Chevy truck problem. So for anybody that's doing a Chevy Colorado, maybe look at doing something about this, or even the Tacoma with the plastic bed. Basically any truck. Check your truck bed and make sure it looks like it's going to hold before you do it. But what they did, so he ended up taking the camper off. Not the camper, the topper, because we don't have a camper on here. Took the topper off and took off the plastic bed rail. And so this is going to be hard to show because obviously I can't take it off to show you it. Then he re-welded the cracked weld, which was peeling it, which ultimately torn it to the outside. Took that off, re-welded that, and then put on an angle bracket. So you can see it up here. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but there's a little black piece overhanging, and then there's a structural rivet right on the inside here. So they put a bracket on top, put a bunch of structural rivets down into it. So that then sandwiched that, made it thicker. And then you can see this bolt here, which, if I can tip it up, there's another one here. So this is mounted through the top of the bed rail. This is down inside of the tail light socket, and there's an angle bracket connecting the two. So theoretically, the top is now being held to the side. It should be burly. So I did talk to Christian while we were there, and he was saying they've never seen this before, which I believe, because one, I don't think it should have happened. Two, we were probably, I don't want to say, we're putting more miles and taking our truck more places than I would say the average user is. And then the other guy actually is beating his up even more than us. The guy with the roofed up tent. Downtime lost. You can check him out. He just put a video out today, which will be in the past then, about that issue. But he literally cracked the bed with just a roofed up tent. And I asked him how much his setup weighs, and he said he's probably around, I think he said 275, 300 pounds. So we're heavier, and he's crushed it with the lighter setup. So yeah, I'd say it's a truck bed issue. So with that said, when I was talking to Toon, they now know of it, because obviously they fixed ours, and I did let them know about the other gentleman's, and they did say that they're probably in the works on coming out with items for different trucks that will strengthen the bed. So Chevy, you can buy bed stiffeners that would go down the side and attach to the bottom, which I still might do. I don't know if I'll need it, but it might not hurt to attach this to this just to shore it up a little bit more. But yeah, Toon may be coming out with items to strengthen truck beds in the future, which would be for using their camper, or if you're going to be using roofed up tents and whatnot. I think they're going to try and make it universal, hopefully. And if they do that and they make one for a Colorado, maybe they'll throw it in ours. So we'll see. But yeah, they jumped right on fixing it. They took care of us. Luckily, we weren't too far out of the way. We were only a couple hours out of the way. And yeah, we did have to, miss a couple of days of the trip, but obviously that was much better than having the truck bed completely failing. So we are very appreciative of them taking care of us and getting us back out there. So, the water intrusion. I didn't even talk about, how did I skip that? Water intrusion stuff. So they fixed that by seam sealing the crap out of it. So I told him seam seal the shit out of it. I don't want it to leak. But all of the seams, and you might not be able to see it, but they kind of have a shiny look to them now because they all have seam sealer. So they're seam sealed everything. And then where I was saying those little nuts in the corner, they are actually behind these plates. He had these off, and I believe I don't know what they used, but I would assume a silicone of some sort siliconed all those gaps. So then he had a fancy little, I'm guessing it's an air sprayer, so you can see if where moisture would be coming through. And so yeah, I think they shored all that up and it should be fixed. So they've been great. They've been amazing, and we're super stoked. We're going to be going on another long trip, actually leaving tomorrow, which once again will be in the past. But we got a cool trip coming. We're actually going out with our friends Mathers on the Map for, I think, about 10 days to go do some cool Colorado stuff in some really cool rigs. So stay tuned for those. Leave any questions down below. Sorry if I went a little out of order. This is the second time recording this, but people have been wanting to know what was going on, how it was fixed. And I wanted to let people know that the Chevy truck beds kind of suck. So hopefully we won't have any more issues, and we can keep going. We want to do Mexico again and take this some places and not worry about it falling apart on us. So stay tuned. We will keep bringing you content about the camper and the truck and what we are doing out on the homestead too. The mudstead. Thanks for watching.